you like said, "Let me tell you about this. Riles already knows." Kid cuisine?
Oh,
Something about kid cuisine?
dude. Yeah, poor Riles was online when I had this revelation. And so I literally like was in the chat with her and was like, "Oh my God." Um yeah, it was we were talking about I don't know if it was during food crimes or if it was just like random memories or maybe it was talking about grandparents. But my grandma used to have, she used to feed us these fish sticks. And I have this very distinct, like, flavor memory where it was
Yeah.
like, they didn't taste like fish sticks. They were weirdly sweet. And I never had any idea where they came from. I've never seen them before. And Ben and I were watching, well, he was watching, and I happened to walk into the room at like exactly the right time. Good Mythical Morning, and they were doing one of their like taste tests.
Hmm.
And they were doing kid cuisine and they happened to be doing the fish sticks. And I literally had to sit back and I was like, "Oh, that was it. Is my grandmother was feeding us those like TV tray dinners. That's why they didn't taste like fish, is because they were, probably freezer burnt to hell and for children.
Right.
Uh and then that awful pudding, the like
Mm.
goopy, ugh, like
Hmm.
plasticky pudding. And so
Yeah.
I literally was sitting there next to Ben, losing my mind as we're watching this episode because I finally found the thing. And Riley had to be a bystander to this revelation that I had.
That's funny. So did she only feed you like she made the TV dinners and then she only gave you like the pudding and the fish sticks, or was it like the whole thing?
I think that was like the whole thing. I think maybe there
Okay.
was like French fries in them as well or something like that. They were TV dinners aren't particularly fancy to begin with, but the kid ones are like this
Yeah.
big and you get 3 fish sticks, 6 fries, and then a little pudding cup. But yeah, they even ate the pudding. Like they tried to eat the pudding on the episode of GMM that he was watching, and like it just all came up as like a single mass. Like
Oh
it was
no.
just so solid. Oh,
Gross.
memories.
Yeah. I liked how you were mentioning
That's funny.
the pudding melting with the fish sticks, like giving
Hmm.
it like a sweet taste. That's so gross.
Yeah. I've never been able to taste something so clearly through a screen where it's like, oh God.
That's funny.
But yeah, so that was my fun revelation. I finally solved that mystery that I've had for my whole adult life.
There you go. Yeah, we did talk about that in our last recording, right? I think you mentioned it to us at least.
At some
The fish
point,
stick part.
I've wondered about it for decades.
I'm glad the mystery has been solved now, though.
I know. Well, Ben was like, "Do you need to buy one of them to do a taste test on an episode?" And I was like, "I don't think I can. Like now seeing it as an adult, it looks disgusting. I don't think I could do that. I
Yeah.
can't. I can't subject myself to that, but now I know. I think if we all did it together, maybe next time we all get together, I'll get a couple different ones and then we can suffer through it
Mm-hmm.
as a group.
I would do that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Um, I forgot I forgot the YouTuber, but I was watching someone rate like different frozen pizzas and I was like, "Oh my god, there's so many." So, of course they had to like do it over many different days because they were going to eat like 24 different kinds of frozen pizza in one day, right? But it was like kind of he had like an arbitrary scoring system. It was like the art on the box, um the taste overall, and then like there was something else. I think he really liked crusts. I want to say it was like how he liked the crust. I think he really liked crispy crust, so it was just like probably the crispiness of it. But it was really funny because there's just so much, like so many random tests that he was coming up with. He was just like, "Let me slap it against the wall and see what happens," and it was just like, these are not actually measuring anything, but I thought it was funny that like, yeah, 3 stars for stickiness on the wall.
I appreciate people who do those taste tests. Sometimes they're horrifying to watch, but like you're just always curious. You want to know how bad something is, but I'm not going to spend my own money on it.
Exactly. Oh, that was the other. I think that was one of the categories too. Was price.
Mm-mm.
They were
Oh yeah.
like, how if you're actually getting your bang for your buck, if it's a shitty pizza but it only costs like a couple dollars, but if it's like a shitty pizza and it costs like $20 and it's like, well, this is absolute garbage, then I paid $20 for extra garbage.
That's like the biggest. There's so many things that I've bought in my life that it's like, yeah, that was a bit expensive and like I didn't use it as much as I thought I would. I think buying bad food is one of the most disappointing purchases. Like if you spend a lot of money on something and it's not very good, that's so sad.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like if it's an object or something that you don't use, maybe someone you could find someone down the line that might be more interested in using it, but it's not like you're gonna give away your uneaten food?
Yeah. It's just gonna go in the trash because it's just gonna go bad in a
Exactly.
couple days.
Hmm.
Do you guys have a favorite frozen pizza brand? Because there's one I really like, but I'll only get it if it's on sale because it's like too much a lot of the time.
Ooh. I'm gluten free, so I'm stuck kind of with just like a handful of brands. But recently I tried Trader Joe's gluten free pizza. It's
Hmm.
really good. I'm pretty happy with it.
Um, I don't know. Like Aldi has some really random toppings on their frozen pizzas and they're like special buy items, which is like every week they get new random items and it's all like in one aisle. And according to Tony, that's like what people go to Aldi for. It's like just to go and see what the new random items are. And also Aldi has like these it's kind of branching off now, but like I'll go there to do our own grocery shopping and then I'll see some really strange things. Like you're not going to a grocery store to go and get like I don't know, like this isn't as weird, but it was like something I was like I wasn't expecting to see at a grocery store. But like they sell things like dog toys now.
Mm.
They sell they sold like I feel like I saw like generic music players there, speakers I seen one time, um throw pillows. I was just like I didn't realize that they sold this stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, people come in and this is like the aisle that people wreck because they're just like like they'll see like a pot that's like a decent looking pot and it'll be like $10 and they'd be like fuck yeah, I'm gonna get this pot and use it. It's $10, hell yeah. Um but yeah, no, I they have some really random frozen pizzas, I want to say. I've seen like and I think we had it before. It was actually pretty good. It was like a butter chicken one.
Mm.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was pretty solid. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. But like I said, really random toppings. You just never know what you're going to get, especially in that special buy aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that aisle in Aldi. Like they have, it's because they're so cheap. Like they don't have a wide selection, but whatever they have is like so cheap. So it's always like cool to see. The one I always get if it's on sale is the California Pizza Kitchen pizzas. I think specifically the
Oh yeah.
like spinach and white, I don't know, some spinach and cheese or something. But like if those aren't on sale, they'll like be like $9 for like a normal little pizza thing. But when I was in college, they'd be I could get them on sale for like $5, but nowadays I think sale price is like 6 or 7. Otherwise, I just have to go to like a generic one, which is still good when you're hungry. Frozen pizza's good, but that would
Yeah.
be that would be cool to see like them. I never thought about how many there are and just rank them would be interesting info.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be like I don't know. At this point, I feel like there's got to be endless amounts of brands of frozen pizzas out there because there's some like grocery stores that aren't in your area, and some only exist on like the East Coast, West Coast, some that might not even be in the States or something like that. So it's like I'm sure the variety all over the world has just got to be like so much.
Yeah.
I wonder if Italians have frozen pizza or if that's like sacrilege.
I feel like it's got to be sacrilege.
Probably.
I feel like they can't have frozen pizza. That's not. You might like go to jail over there or something like that.
True.
Well, we're also, it always cracks me up because, like, we're a little biased being on the East Coast. Like, I do still feel like frozen pizza, like, there is a little bit of a standard still. It cracks me up watching videos, again, like Good Mythical Morning or something like that. Well, they'll be eating pizza, but they're on the West Coast. And they'll be like, this is not that bad. And it's like the nastiest pizza you've ever seen. It's like I would not, no one would pay for that here. And not because it's even that fancy. Like I'll eat shit pizza, but for me shit pizza is like Domino's.
Mhm.
It's still better. Domino's is still better than whatever they were eating. And they're like, "Yeah, this is great." It's like, "No.
That's
That's like a
true.
tortilla with some sauce and pepperoni on it and that's it." And they're charging you $15 for it.
True.
Do you guys like Chicago style pizzas?
I don't think I've
I've never
had
had it.
them. Yeah.
I think I mean, I haven't had one recently, so I feel like I couldn't really gauge whether or not I like it because I feel like the only time I ever had it was once when I was a kid. But I don't know, maybe it's just because I've never really eaten like pizza that's like that thick. I feel like I automatically be like, I don't know. I don't know if I would like it. It's too
Yeah.
like it's too lasagna like at that point, I guess, with the sauce and stuff.
Yeah, it always seemed like
Yeah.
just too much sauce. Like I don't want to eat that.
Mm.
I didn't realize that the cheese was under the sauce until that like viral video of that guy saying the cheese is under the sauce. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know, so I was like, oh, this is informative.
Yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't look. It's like one of those things I'm sure there's. I understand that some people like it, but it just doesn't look particularly good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like a Detroit style pizza, which is really thick as well, but it's got really, really crispy edges. Um, so I like that one. I guess that's not very saucy like how Chicago looks, but I used to think like the thick ones I wouldn't really like because I don't like kind of like the spongier crust, but this one's like thick in the middle, but the edges are really, really burnt and crisp. So I like those.
Yeah, there's a place back from where Melody's from that does like kind of similar to that, and it's pretty good. They're very nostalgic for me. I didn't realize that was like a regional thing until I moved away.
So you got this restock video here for us.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's just one of those ones where you watch it and you're like, what? Who lives like this?
The amount of eggs is
The
like
eggs.
so how is it, does she have a large family or like is this just cuz I don't
Right.
know.
I don't know. Hang on. Let me scroll through her videos real quick. See if there's anyone else in this house.
That's like a crazy amount of eggs.
Well, and
I
then
think it might just be her and her husband. I don't know that there's any children.
they she also just put on a bunch of things of egg whites in a carton.
Yeah.
That's more egg.
Also, it was like the video on its own kind of made me laugh just because. So for the people who can't see this, there's it's just a crate that's probably got like 60 to 70 eggs in it if I had to guess, and that's like a quarter of her fridge. And then she's got a shelf dedicated to cartons of egg whites, a shelf dedicated to just yogurt. And then in her drawers, she's just got like loose fruit.
Lemons.
Just so yeah, there's one drawer completely dedicated to lemons. And the comments were cracking me up because like one of the top ones is literally like, if you got rid of the lemon drawer, you could fit more eggs.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the comments are so good.
You're out of eggs.
That's crazy. Do you think they do that like to rage bait? Like they'd have to actually buy and eat those things though, which is why I can't imagine you're doing it just for the bit. But like
I
who
think
does that?
I think she's like a fitness type person. So I think she just does a bunch of
Oh.
like protein
Mhm.
because I had the same thought where I've been getting a lot of like food crime type videos recommended to me, and the rest of her profile is all just like typical Instagram blogger, like pretty basic, nothing super fancy. Like, and her comment response on it is like, I don't know why you guys are so upset about my fridge. I think she just doesn't eat anything but eggs and yogurt.
I mean, it looks healthy. Everything in there is like, I guess healthy, but wow, that's wild.
Do you guys have anything in your fridge that if someone looked at it, they'd be like, that's too much of that one thing?
um Oh God, what is the name of that? I want to say it's Owl's Brew. Okay, so Owl's Brew makes like tea cocktails, and I think they had one that was like part, I don't know, beer, part tea, and it wasn't bad. Hold on, let me see.
Like an Arnold Palmer, kind of.
Kind of. Um, that doesn't sound right, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. They used to make something else that I really liked. Maybe it was a seltzer. Okay, I want to say it's a seltzer then. But I haven't had it in a while. So a while ago, Tony, or actually our friend um picked up some Owl's Brew stuff. That was a while ago now. It was like tea. Let me see, what is it? Yeah, it was like vodka seltzers, and it was a variety pack. And he said they were bad. And so Tony wanted to try it out, and I was also kind of curious. But like as Tony was trying them out, he was like, "Okay, these aren't bad." And I tried them out, and I absolutely agree with our friend because they were just so gross. So they're still in our fridge. It's been a long time since we've gotten them, but there's like too many of them. And Tony swears that he likes them and he'll drink them, but it's been like I said, a really long time. I'm like, oh God. And every time I'm like close to being like, okay, look, it's time, and it must be bad by now. I haven't checked the date in a while. I'm sure they're bad by now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump them. But I would say if someone were to look in our fridge, they'd be like, "Oh, you guys really like these Owl's Brew vodka seltzers?" I'd be like, "No, we don't." They'd be like, "Why do you have them?" I'd be like, "I don't know." Ask Tony. So that's probably the thing in our fridge that people be like, "You have too many of these things." I'd be like, "You are right. They don't belong in there, but they're in there."
Yeah,
How about you guys?
I don't have anything, a lot of anything. I think the weirdest thing in my fridge is probably just being empty or like having old stuff in there. Like I forgot we had like a thing of frozen tilapia in the freezer for a long time. Like you know how it gets to the point where you just become blind to it? Like you open your freezer and you don't even see it because it's just been there so long.
Yeah.
That's like all I have, but it's like weirdly empty a lot. Like I don't think my fridge has ever been as full as that lady's fridge.
We have, I mean, I made fun of her lemon drawer, but we repurposed our fruit drawer, because we ended up, people just kept bringing alcohol to our house and leaving it at our house, and but we'd also like buy a mix, like some kind of mix pack or something when people would come over to have stuff for guests. And so at some point I realized that like the bottom third of our fridge was just dedicated to alcohol, and Ben and I drink like maybe a drink every couple months these days. Like if we don't go out with friends, like we don't really drink at all. And so literally one of our fruit drawers is like it's pretty flat, and it's the perfect size for a like a beer can size drink, and so it's full of hard cider. Uh, because we had some like woodchuck hard cider, and then we had the leftover stuff from when we got together. Um, and I realized it's about to get worse because for Christmas we told Ben's sister that she could just buy us the specific uh like drinks that she can only get near her, and so she's gonna give us those for Christmas. So we're just gonna add to our little stockpile in the bottom of our fridge. You don't see it right away, so it's not immediately suspicious. But if you went to look for fruit in our fridge, you'd just find alcohol.
Yeah, that's me too. I used to drink so much, and then like now I don't. It's like same thing, like maybe a drink every maybe once a month, if that. It'd be more likely that I'll do every other month. And
Yep.
the max on that day that I'd be drinking would be like two hard seltzers or something like that. It's it's crazy the amount that I've come down from when I used to drink a lot. It's
Yeah.
just not worth it anymore. Like unless, like you said, if I'm out to go like meet up with friends, sure, I'll drink a few, but like I it's just not worth the pain the next day because it's like worse now. So like before I used to just be it wouldn't even bother me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday was the last day of finals. My semester's done.
Woo.
And I was texting with one of my friends because she's heading back to her home for the break. And I was like, "Hey, you said you don't have anything. Like, she doesn't have anything in her fridge right now because she's just been like not buying anything, so she's gonna be gone for a couple weeks." And I was like, "Do you want me to bring over? I can bring over a couple of drinks. We can just like hang out and chat for a little bit, and then I'll head home." And she's like, "Yeah, sounds great." So I packed up a bag full of like a bunch of the cider flavors and stuff. And first off, I was like thrilled. I was like, "Thank God we're gonna get rid of some of the stuff in the fridge." Walked out of the house and she texted me and she's like, "I'm pretty tired, and I'll be honest, I don't really feel like drinking tonight." And I was like, "That's fine, but it is 6 o'clock. It's not that late." So I think she passed out literally like right after this conversation. But I stayed home and I had a single cider and it was like before 7 and I was so tired. All I wanted to do was go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I like I finished it and I was like, I've got like 2 more hours to get through before it's even like 9 o'clock. I guess I'll just drink a bunch of water and like lay on the couch. It was so sad. It was pretty pitiful. I have the excuse though of being 28. She's 20 and bailed on me at 6 p.m. So
Really?
I can make fun of her at
Wow.
least. Yeah.
Dang.
Damn, 20?
Hmm.
That's like prime years, prime drinking years.
I know. That's what I told her.
Man, wait till she gets to my age and she'll be like, "Oh, take a sip of something." She'll be like, "Whoa."
Oh my God. She constantly like forgets how much older than her I am. Um and so anytime like things will come up that are dated, like things that I remember from high school, she's like, "Oh my God, I was a baby then." It's like it's not that big of an age. Like 8 years is a big age gap, but like you weren't a literal toddler. And she gave me a ride home yesterday after our final and put some music on, and she played Party Rock on the way back. And I
Hmm.
was like, I think this came out while I was in like, hang on, let me actually Google it. I said high school, but I'm not really sure. Uh, Party Rock anthem, 2011. Yeah, so while I was in high school is when this came out. And she goes, I was still in diapers. It's like, you were like 8 years old. Calm down.
Diapers.
And she's just like, every time it comes up, she's like progressively getting younger and younger as we talk about it. Uh,
I was just born when
yeah.
this song came out. Must have heard it when I was just like still in the hospital room.
They played it as I came out. It was
Yeah,
my entrance song.
yeah, enter the world while Party Rock Anthem was playing. That'd be a crazy
Uh,
entrance song. Could you imagine they just blast that while you're going into labor?
That'd be horrible. Wait, why was she playing that? I was just thinking. That is crazy old and like not at all similar to any pop music nowadays. Why
I
would she
don't
play
pretend to
that?
understand her taste. She's a very interesting person.
That's insane.
Yeah. I don't think I've heard that song in a long time.
I've only heard about it more recently because I saw like a reel going around for a while that was, you guys know about the second song that they made, right? That's called Sorry for Party Rocking.
Oh yeah.
It's basically just party rock, but again, and a little bit slower.
That's funny. I don't know. Maybe if I heard it, then I'd like recognize it, but I not recognize
It's
it by the
it's not
title.
that different. It would
Okay.
probably all kind of blur together anyways, but
Okay. So then maybe I did hear it and I was just thinking it was just Party Rock Anthem.
yeah. But pretty funny move on their part.
That was funny. Wow. That's like the era of the um were they like the Kanye shades like where the glasses like but then they just had the lines through them? Did you guys ever
Oh,
have those?
shutter shades.
Shutter shades,
Mm.
yeah.
Whoa, that's a blast from the past. You like unlocked a memory for me.
Yeah.
You know what that makes me think of? 303.
Oh yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like people wore those whenever those would be playing at dances. I don't know, that's like the vibe that came with it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they're like the most generic white guys ever. That is the vibe of their music, but they themselves are. I would not recognize them in a street. Like they're
Hmm.
so boring looking.
Imagine like
Yeah.
the young people being like, "Oh yeah, this classic music from the 2000s," like, you know, how we refer to like the 1950s, and it's just that kind of shit. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
it happens once in a while. Well, because I also saw something recently that was like songs that turned 15, and that was the one that was like hurting me a little bit because when I was then thinking about it in the context of my friend is like she would have been 5. The idea of like these songs playing on the radio when you were 5 years old is crazy to me.
Yeah,
I feel like Hips Don't Lie has to be old as shit, but I still honestly hear that on the radio sometimes.
that's a good one. Yeah, Shakira, I
Classic.
really actually like all of her stuff. It still holds up, I feel like.
Hmm.
Um, She Wolf. Speaking of Shakira, that
Is
Hmm.
turned
that
15.
15? Wow.
Hmm.
TikTok by Kesha.
Whoa,
Classic.
that one, okay, like it makes sense, but I'm just like, no, it's not that old. But it is that old.
Bad Romance, which makes sense because I feel like I
Yeah.
remember like lots of memes and stuff happening in high school around it.
Hmm.
Oh, Fireflies by Owl City. Forgot about that song.
That
Whoa.
one's so good.
Oh, this list is very short.
What
Okay.
what is 15 years ago? Is it
2009, right?
okay?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Gosh, 2009.
Party in the USA.
Oh.
G6.
G6 went crazy for for no reason. Because I feel like I was like, yeah. How old were you saying you were, Hannah? I'd be like the same. You said that's high school,
2009. 2009, I was 13.
so like middle school.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Like I feel like it was all those like club songs and like Kesha songs, and I was just in middle school. Like why was I like obsessed with those?
Okay, this one feels a lot older. I actually would have not, I would have guessed that this one was older. Hey Soul Sister is apparently also 15 years old.
Hmm.
Oh.
I would have guessed that was like 20.
You know what? That one reminds me of like the newer, it's not that new, it's also old, but the newer version of that reminds me of Riptide by, who was that by? Like,
Age Joy.
yeah. Doesn't that kind of have a similar vibe?
Um, kind of in that.
But
I
yeah,
was going to say if Train was still making music, he probably still is making music. I just don't think he's relevant anymore.
yeah, I would have thought that, I would have thought Riptide was like 2009, and then that one was like a million years old.
um, Riptide is 2013.
Okay, okay. Makes sense.
That was a little bit, that makes more sense because Riptide kind of came with like Mumford and Sons, a little bit more of the like banjo acoustic folk.
Yeah, true. More hipstery era.
Hmm. Did we
Yeah,
want to talk about resolutions?
yeah. Did you guys
Oh yeah.
remember any of yours to begin with?
I think
Um.
I only had the one. I think
Yeah.
I had the learning to like knit
Hmm.
Oh.
was my goal. And I only know that because I still have the basket of yarn and the knitting needles right here.
There
And
you
I
go.
don't think I've touched them since we talked about them. Uh, so that didn't go super well.
Mine was, I think, just to cook new dishes. I don't recall if I've cooked any new dishes, so I think I failed that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, the only one I remember, which I'm pretty sure I rolled over from the previous year, which was to try to sew Howl's Moving Coat's castle. Howl's
Oh
Moving
yeah.
Castle's
Yeah, yeah.
coat, which I didn't attempt. It's too scary to get like wrong, but I did like sew a couple things. And I just bought a dress form, like one of those mannequins for like that you can like sew dresses on because in
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
head I'm like I can sew a dress. So maybe that'll be one of my new ones.
There you
Is I'm
go.
scrapping the coat. I'll come back to that another year, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a dress, I think.
2025 is the dress year.
Nice. That's progress, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buying things, I think that doesn't count towards the resolutions. Because you can buy a lot of things and still
True.
never start them.
That's true. I
It,
yeah, I'm reluctant to make it a resolution because I feel like that's always the classic one that everyone fails at, but I signed up for a gym this last weekend, and that's been actually going really well. I've gone a couple times already, and I'm really enjoying
Nice.
it, but I'm afraid to say that I will continue through all of 2025 because I feel like that means I'll fall off immediately in January.
Yeah, it's like the New Year's resolution does the opposite effect of being like, if I write this down or if I tell someone or something like that to help me be accountable for it. It's like like the resolution does the opposite effect. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
the moment I say that it's going to be my New Year's resolution, it'd be like I automatically will stop doing whatever that thing is, even if I didn't even start it yet, or like I had the thought of starting it. It's just immediately just going to leave my brain.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't committed that to like I haven't set any goals for that in mind. It's just kind of been like I'm gonna keep going. Um, Next semester I don't have any early morning classes, so I'll try and keep up like a routine, but I'm not gonna like set a weight goal or anything like that because I think that'll that'll end it.
is there anything from 2024 that but that you're kind of like, okay, it wasn't a resolution, but I did do this and that was kind of cool, you know? You have to say getting engaged. You got to
I wasn't
celebrate
planning
that.
I wasn't planning that when the year started though, but that's true.
But it's a big like I guess yeah, you couldn't really it'd be weird if you made that a resolution, but it's such a big kind of deal, I think. It's like good to celebrate.
Sure. Yeah, it is pretty exciting. Um, I don't know. I every year I set a reading goal. I've read a
Mm,
lot more than I have the last couple of years, which is pretty cool. I think I set my reading goal for 45 books. Hang on, I'm opening it up. Yeah, 45 was my goal, and I'm currently at 54.
nice.
Nice.
So I'll probably finish a few more before the year's over, which is cool. It's the most I've read in a long time.
Nice.
Nice. I mean, I haven't done it every day, but I still use like Duolingo to learn some Japanese, and I think I made some progress in that last year. And also, a few months ago, I also started brushing up on my Spanish because it's been a long time
Hmm.
since I've done that. And like I took 7 years of solid Spanish, and I was able to actually hold decent conversations with Spanish speakers. And I don't think I can do that right now, but just kind of like going back to it is nice because I can confidently say things like, you know, hello, how are you? My name is Melody in three different languages. So like I feel like that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
So I guess that could be my loose my very loose 2025 New Year's resolution.
Yeah. What about you, Riley? You got anything?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the fact that I traveled a lot more. I think especially with COVID, I just got really used to being in my house, and I wasn't much of a traveler before. But this year, I feel like I traveled the most places, and then I obviously went to Switzerland outside of the country for the first time. So I'm really proud of myself for doing that, even though it's like I think it's pretty stressful for me to, well, the country out of the country felt stressful or felt really intimidating to me because I'd never
Yeah.
done it, and so it feels good. And I didn't make any, I don't think I made a resolution for it, but I keep thinking about it, so I'm happy for that.
Nice. Do you guys have another place you want to try going?
We Tino, because he's such a weeb too, and would love to go to Japan. And I keep saying that like we'll do that someday, but I don't know if we'll do it next year. But maybe I'll try to learn a little Japanese. Sounds really intimidating. I'm impressed that you learning some of that, Melody. That's cool.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely one of those languages where it's like. I mean, English, of course, is like to anyone who's a non native English speaker, English is so stupid. But like even when I like talk to people who are non-English native speakers, and then they'd be like, "But why is this like like red or read or like shit like that, you know?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dude, I don't know." Like I'm like it's just like that. But yeah, it's kind of like when we'll like do anime watch parties, Riley. Like
Mm.
I was talking to Riley beforehand about how like there are some words in Japanese that they just kind of adopted that are more of like slang, but they still mean that word. So for example, bed, there is a Japanese word for bed, but for the most part they'll be like beddo. That's it. So it's like but like there's definitely like actual words for these things in Japanese, but then for the most part they just have kind of like adopted more of like this is like the Japanese English word that we're going to use more often than not. So yeah, it's like those like weird things in Japanese too.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know a ton of it, but Ben Ben obviously speaks a lot more German than I do, but that one always cracks me up because I feel like German does that a lot, where like so many of the words and phrases are almost like stereotypical to what you would expect when you're like, what would this be in German? It's like just put on an offensive uh, accent and give it your best shot, and you'll be pretty close, like for a lot of the time.
That's funny.
It's pretty bad. There's been a couple times where he'll be talking with like their old like, foreign exchange student or something, and it'll be a quick sentence, and I'll be like, "Oh, was it this?" And he's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" It's like he just said the English words, but a little bit more German.
We'll see how we do with these ones this coming year. Oh well, no. When this comes out, it will already be 2025. I have to. Yeah, we're in the future. We're in the
Yeah,
future. We're in the future already.
yeah.
We've already
We're already
started
We've already
hypothetically.
started the
yeah,
year. Yeah, exactly. Right.
we're already nailing all of these things.
Yes. Yes.
Well, maybe we should make a group trip to Japan then, because I think Ben also wants to go. I think it's also on his list.
Yes. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
Yeah.
So this is random, but I had this up on my list to bring up on topics last recording, since it happened like a few weeks before our last recording, I want to say. I don't know. Hold on. When was our last recording? It's a while ago now, right? It was like November.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was pre-Thanksgiving because we
Okay.
canceled the one on Thanksgiving or like that time frame.
Okay, yeah. So it was like the beginning of November. I saw this article and I had to look it up because I had to read more into it because I was just like, I don't understand what's happening here. Um, but there was this lab in South Carolina that had like I was like, it was like 43 or 33 monkeys escape because someone just left a door open. So there's just like fucking monkeys running around in this South Carolina town. And I don't know. I don't know. There's like a video here from like a day ago, from a news station that says apparently four of the original oh, it is 33, I get. I don't know. That's conflicting. Some say 33, some say 43, but it says four of the original 33 escaped lab monkeys are still at large. And it is like a month, more than a month later, there's just four that are just like, whoa, what's going on? Look at all these humans. Let's wreck this stuff. I don't know what they're up to, but like, it's just four just chilling somewhere.
I mean, that's kind of impressive.
What kind
They're
of
still.
monkeys are they? Like, are they like this? I guess most monkeys are kind of tiny, right?
Um, Hold on, let's see.
They like, I've heard monkeys in the places where they're like native are like really mischievous. So I imagine these guys are just like going around like stealing people's stuff.
7 to 9 pounds.
Oh wow, that's pretty tiny. My cats are like 10 plus, I think.
Oh, yeah. Six between weighing between 6 and 7 pounds. That's according to NPR, I guess.
That'd be hard to find a little sucker like that.
Mm, they're probably
Oh, that's
chilling.
true.
Man, where would you go if you were an escapee monkey? In South Carolina, too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would get lost just exploring. I just end up in like a complete like I don't know. I feel like if I was one of those monkeys, I've been way far away in a different state. Just because I feel like I
Yeah.
would just see so many different things that would interest me, and then like before you know it, I'm definitely not in South Carolina anymore.
You like hitchhike on a truck or a train or something. You're like that way. I'd probably
Yeah, I
hang
feel
out.
like they probably. Go ahead.
I was saying I'd probably hang out at a restaurant. Just try to steal all the food.
I was gonna say, as like, yeah, if most of them have been caught by now too. I bet that like the last couple are on their own. They're probably gone. I can't imagine they would hang around.
Yeah, those are
Just
they're states away, man.
yeah.
They put up like help want or wanted posters for the monkeys, like in different states. They're like, I'm the FBI's most wanted. Have you seen this monkey?
They're out there. They'll be a borderline cryptid. Like 10 years from now, people are still gonna be saying that they see the monkeys every once in a while.
A cryptid that's like a group of animals is a pretty genius idea.
Also random, but this is I guess a little bit more recent. I don't think there's been any resolution to it yet, unless there has been, because I think it's been happening within the past like week or so. But I guess in New Jersey, parts of New York, Connecticut, I want to say too, there people are just seeing like drones in the sky, and it's like alarming a lot of people. You guys heard
Oh
about
my
that?
god. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're just like asking the government to be like, can you weigh in on this? Can you like tell us what this is? Because you have the capacity to like find out where they're coming from or whatever. And because like, like people aren't really, they're just like, we don't know what it is. It's like making people more alarmed. We're just like, well, the government doesn't know what it is. What could it be? I love the ones that are like, it's aliens. I love those ones.
I feel like that's most of what I've seen is people trying to say it's UFOs. Like, I
Yeah.
guess, but I don't know. Why are they in New Jersey?
And it's like from what I can see, what I've seen is like they're clearly drones, but also I'm just kind of like, I, no one. You're telling me no form of like no formal government resources can follow these drones to wherever they're coming from. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, what? Someone knows something. It's not that big of a deal. And besides, if it's aliens, also I feel like hasn't like the government also come out and been like, yeah, these are straight up like they call them UAPs now, right, or something like that, and it's not UFOs anymore or something, but they're just like, yeah, we don't know what these things are, and we've caught video of it, and here it is, and they're
Yeah.
like way faster than just drones. So I just also feel like I don't know why are these ones so slow then if they're UFOs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it also just feels like it could just be classified information, and they're not just gonna just be like, "Yep, we're doing all of this imagery for whatever reason." Like, they could just be lying.
I just
Yeah.
like the mass hysteria. Well, not. I mean, I don't know. I think it's becoming mass hysteria. There's a lot of people that are really concerned about it too. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a better way to handle. Has
Yeah.
there been any resolution to that yet?
Hmm.
I haven't seen any. I think my parents were watching the news on that too. It seems like the New Jersey governors and representatives especially, I keep seeing them getting worked up about it. Like, what the hell's going on?
And then also also like the funny response. I like the responses to me that are also pretty funny are just like the old like like I feel like this is so America, but it's just like shoot them down. Like I just think that that response is so funny. Be like, shoot them down so we can see what they are. And I'm just like,
Shoot
I
first
don't
and
know.
ask
Ask questions
questions
later.
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love it to be aliens. I love alien stuff, but I'm always like, it's probably something that's very like boring and likely and It'll probably make sense once they figure it out. Won't be like an alien invasion, but would be cool if it was.
That'd be wild to see. Just straight up an alien just walk up to us, just be like, "What's up? You guys got us wrong the whole time." Like they just look completely different from like what we envisioned them to look like in like movies and whatever. And
Wouldn't it-
they just look like us or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't it be weird if aliens just looked a lot like us? I'd be like, what the hell? Or like uncanny, like if they looked almost like us, but just like a little bit freaky. It's like a little bit something's
Mm.
off. That would actually be the worst case scenario.
Like an alternate or something. You guys heard
Yeah.
of those? It's in like a lot of analog horror. To be like, they're like doppelgangers, but there's like something slightly off about them. Maybe like their eyes look a little off. Maybe their pupils are a little too big, or there are no whites in their eyes, or their proportions aren't right, or something.
That's
Yeah,
freaky.
that would be freaky though if they look like alternates. Then
They should write that into an alien movie.
yeah, they're just
Someone must have, it feels like.
nowadays. I just feel like I just see more remakes more than anything.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just the
pretty
same thing
sad.
being remade over and over again. And it's like the ones that have the big budgets too.
Yeah, I don't know why they do
Yeah.
that. It feels like it's getting worse over the years, and I keep waiting for it to stop. And I mean, there's still new stuff, but it just feels like such a small percentage.
Like I heard that American Psycho is actually going to be remade.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Why?
Yeah, why?
It's not even that old too."
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
perfect.
it's not like the references are outdated or anything. Like they're a
Yeah.
little bit with like a pager, but if
Yeah.
anything, that adds to it. What are you gonna replace it with?
Yeah, and people love doing like 80s reference. They'll make a new show that's set in the 80s. And so who cares to update the old ones to new ones if you're just referencing 80s anyway or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know we were trying to figure out. We were talking about going to see a movie in theaters pretty recently with Ben's parents. Um, and so we were trying to find something because at first I think we were talking about going to try and go see Wicked, but it was already out by the time we actually talked about it. And so then we were looking at what was out, and his parents were like, "Oh, we could go and watch the new Lion King, the not
Oh, the
live action."
CGI one? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
and I felt bad. They were like kind of excited about it, and Ben and I were both like, "Nah, like
Yeah.
I'm not
Nah.
particularly interested. Like CGI is not going to add anything to it, and it's like the songs are classics. I don't want to hear someone else do them, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I
Like,
saw
meh.
that trailer in theater, I was like, "Dude, why?
Hi.
Why?
Who is it
It's so
for?
strange. No one asked for it."
No.
Yeah,
It's so
it's
silly.
weird. Um, but yeah, I think we got HBO Max recently, and I think this no. Actually, I'm thinking of something else. Oh, that was something else I wanted to tell you guys. It's also kind of random. But yeah, I think Tony and I are planning to watch The Substance soon because I think it popped up on
Ooh.
Prime to rent for like a few bucks. So I've been really interested to see that since you brought it up, Hannah.
Yeah, I really want to watch it, so I haven't seen it.
I've heard like so many good reviews. Like people are very excited. When they left the theater, people were talking about how like refreshing it was because it seemed so different from other stuff, like other things.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard to find like people being original now in like the movie industry, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, even the bad reviews I've heard weren't bad. They were just like, I thought it was kind of weird. It wasn't for me, which is like, I'm fine with that. That's lots of stuff that I like is like that.
Yeah. Oh, did you
Yeah.
ever end up watching Memories of Murder?
I haven't gone back to it. I have been like building up I mean, so finals came up, so I just was
Oh,
totally focused on that and haven't watched anything in like a month. But I've been building a list. I've got like a list of things that I want to watch, hopefully over break, but uh The Substance and Memories of Murder are like the top of the list.
nice. Yeah, you guys both should watch that. Whenever you have the chance, because It was definitely something I've never heard of. But also it was just like when heard that it was directed by Bong Joon Ho, I was like, oh, this has got to be good. And then by the
Yeah.
end of it, I was like, oh man. And I was really few days I was thinking about it.
Have you
Nice.
watched or heard of Juror Number Two?
I've heard of it.
Okay, because that's on my list too. I saw like a clip about it recently, and I was like, that sounds weird and like interesting.
Yeah.
So that's on my list of things I want to watch over break as well.
That looks like that one's new. Or 2024. Is
Yeah,
that right? Okay.
yeah, it's a Clint Eastwood movie, but it doesn't sound like a Clint Eastwood movie, like when I was reading the synopsis. So I'm very curious because I don't know, it just sounds kind of interesting, and uh, I think Nicholas Holt was pretty decent, so I'm hoping that based on the premise of it, that it'll be pretty good.
That says that's on Max soon, I think, too, if you've got HBO Max. Maybe
Nice.
I'll get that.
Yeah, I'll have to do just like a I forgot the word for it.
Like
What's it
Rent?
called when you just watch a bunch of stuff back to back?
Oh,
Oh,
like
binge?
a binge.
A binge watch? Yeah,
Yeah.
marathon. I think that's what I was trying to come
Marathon.
up
Oh
with.
yeah, there you go.
I'll have to do that sometime over break.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
good to have movies with people too. Like I'm with my family and we're always looking for stuff to watch. Although I told them about Nosferatu. I was like, we could watch Nosferatu on Christmas, and my mom was like, I don't want to watch it scary. And I was like,
Oh, I do
So
want to see that too.
yeah. So I don't know if it's supposed to be like straight up a remake, but even if it is, like remaking things, but like the original was like what, 1920s? Like
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like
yeah,
I think I was trying to look for the original and I couldn't find it anywhere, but I think someone did like a remaster in color, but it's not the same. And I just, you know what I mean? Like you can't find the original. That makes sense for a remake, not something that's like American Psycho came out in 2000, and
yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Um, but I wanted to bring up over the past month, Tony and I have watched all all 10 of the Saw fucking movies. They're so
Oh,
stupid. They are so stupid and they're so funny though. Like I can't they're okay, they're not I think Final Destination is a little worse than them,
yeah.
but the Saw franchise is so funny to me because like I was really just looking at the traps because I was like,
Mm,
wow, that's crazy. But like the thing that I was really into those traps. There was only one that got me like, oh, I had to turn away from the screen. I was like, that one's actually got me. Like that one made me squeamish. But the rest of them, I was like, wow, that is a crazy ass trap. So like, you start off with like the reverse bear trap, and then like there's ones where like have some dude like just splayed out and they like turn his limbs and they'll just break his limbs like that. I'm like, wow, that's
oof.
crazy. Or I don't know, there's all types of crazy ass ones, but I was just laughing every time. Just the timeline is so funny in them because they're always like every new Saw movie they'll be like, oh, this ties in with the one before it and the one before that. And then in your head, like I was just like, there's no way, because they came out like consecutively year after year for a while. There's no way that someone were to like watch it, right? If you were a really good fan of it, I couldn't imagine you really like you had to have watched the prior one. You must have had a marathon before each new movie came out because there's no way you could have kept all that straight. Like there's so much interweaving, and like Jigsaw has like apprentice after apprentice, and he has like three or four different apprentices at once, and he's an old man with terminal cancer. And I was just like the whole time, I'm just like, how does he have time to do all this? Like I was like, I don't give a fuck how many apprentices this guy has. There's no way they had this many things going on all at the same time. And I didn't even know there were 10 until like we were just like watching the first one. And then when we were looking it up, it was like, yeah, Saw 10 came out in 2023. I was like, no fucking way.
yeah.
And apparently now in 2025, there's supposed to be an 11th one.
Why?
Who was watching those? That's crazy.
Me and Tony after they've come out for a while. But like they're so fucking funny. And it just every time you'll hear and like the Jigsaw's supposed to have been dead, like he dies in like the third movie. And then there's like fucking there's like seven more movies where you just hear his fucking voice being on like one of those tapes. Also, in the newest one, he still has those fucking tapes because it's supposed to be like a prequel or whatever. He has like the tape recorders and everything, and you have no concept of time in these. Like I don't know what year it is. Like I don't know what. And, like all these cops are so dumb. Like there's just cop after cop after cop, and it was like a huge meme for me. So like, and like like the iconic thing where he's just like he closes the door and he's just like game over. I just started
Game
fucking
over.
saying that after everything. Like I'll just like close the door on Tony, be like game over. That shit, like the whole franchise has just had me laughing. We finished the 10th one last night, and I don't know, man. I think it's definitely if people have time and they end up wanting to watch some random stupid shit, just watch any of them. I think it'll be so funny for whoever you watch it with. Well, of course, if you don't mind the gore, 'cause yeah, there's a ton of that. But like, obviously, right? Because it's called Saw, and everyone knows what the Saw franchise is loosely about, even if you've never watched any of them.
Mhm.
But it's so much fun just to see like it's the same shit, of course. They have like their formula. But man, some of those traps are the craziest things. I'm like, yo, who wrote this? Who's in there? Just because they had to come up with it. They had to like they're like writing it down, they're like putting in the script, and they're just like, man, I am Jigsaw. How do we make this even worse than it was the year before? It's just the funniest shit. Yeah.
What's like the worst trap that you saw? Because I think I've only seen like 3 saws.
Okay. So the one that made me squeamish was there also the other thing that makes me laugh about this is like a Jigsaw and all of his apprentices, they all know how to fucking cut someone's eye open, sew it back, like put a key in there and sew it back up. Like
Like
I'm
doctors.
yeah, I'm like, how do you all fucking know how to do this? Like this and
First day of training.
and especially too because it's like one of his apprentices used to be a junkie, one of his other apprentices is just a detective. It's like, how do you all have this medical know-how? Like I feel like you would kill them if you tried. But oh, and like Jigsaw himself was supposed to be a civil engineer. Like where is this background medical knowledge you know what I mean? Like you don't just open up a book and be like, oh, now I know how to do this, give me a scalpel. But the craziest one that I saw that made me get kind of grossed out by was they put this key inside this woman's throat and it went all the way and it was attached to a string and uh, they
Ooh.
had it go all the way down her stomach and um the person that was supposed to save her that was given the choice, it's always the fun thing is like, oh, you have a choice, save this person or not. But it's like, okay, Jigsaw, let me put you in this trap and you have the choice of whether or not to save this person in 3 minutes. But it's a really dire situation. I feel like, you know what, I don't know, man, kind of. But anyways, her friend had to like pull out the key from her through her mouth, right? And like I said, all the way down to her stomach. But at the same time, it was like she was hooked that monitored how loud her voice was. So she screamed it all. The amount of sound started like putting these like she had these four like I don't know, like pointy tube things that basically they would stab her in the neck 4 different ways. The longer and louder that she screamed, the closer those things came to her neck. And I don't know, I think it was just the pulling out. That part made me, I was just like, ugh. So
Yeah.
that was the part that made me squeamish. But yeah, no, we could put someone on a rack and twist their limbs and see the bones break. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. This is fine. But it was that one. I was like, oh God.
Pretty rough.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was like
Yeah.
thinking about it. I didn't realize until you said that she was like tethered down and like she couldn't move. Because I was like, you could just kind of like make yourself throw up. I feel like, and it wouldn't be good. It'd be a bad time. But like, I feel like you could kind of trick the system. But yeah, if you're tied down, it's a little harder.
Yeah. It was they always have them. It's always chair and there's crazy like contraption attached to your back or your face or whatever, then your hands are not working or something like that. But it the Saw theme is so funny too because it'll come on and I'm just like It's like low key kind of catchy. So yeah, that's what we've been watching lately. Just the Saw movies.
But now you're done. You'll have to
Now
go
we're done.
watch Saw 11 in theaters next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna buy that one. I don't want. I'm not gonna see a Saw movie. I never have. I've only just waited till now to really watch them. I mean, I think it was like 1 and 2. I guess were on TV all the time because like when we were watching them, I was like, okay, all of this looks familiar. But then as we went through like 3 through 10, I was just like, I don't know. I don't think I've really seen ones. Maybe I've seen clips of them, but I don't think I've seen them in full. Really.
I don't think I've ever watched one.
Like not even one Saw?
Not even a single Saw.
I think
No, I don't think we ever. I don't never. I don't know. My family doesn't like gory stuff at all. Like I'm definitely the weird one who likes like horror movies and things like that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just never went back and watched them either. I would say
Well,
someday, but they're not really high on my list.
no,
yeah.
I'm just saying if you ever if you ever end up watching one of them, you'll I don't know, just think about what I said, which will just be like it's funny
It is.
because they're really just so funny. And some people will be like, "How could you think it's funny?" You don't know. You don't understand.
They're pretty goofy. I mean, it's the same reason I love the Final Destination movies. They're just so dumb. The logic is so silly.
That one we watched when we were all together, and then like the part I was laughing forever. It's like behind the movie screen was just like 40 barrels of like flammable whatever, and I was just like, wow, what a convenient place for all these barrels of flammable whatever to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're just buckets of loose nails.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's not. No one says that they're highbrow. They're not the most clever movies, but they're a good time.
yeah. It's just yeah, all the logic that's will lack of, and then the writing is just so funny, man, for these things.
And back in the day, people went to the movie theaters a lot more. It's just kind of more of a tradition than anything to go see some dumb horror spooky movie every year.
I feel like
Yeah.
Saw was edgy at the time though, and same with like Final
Yeah.
Destination. They were like cool and
Mhm.
edgy, and it was oh Saw. Whereas now it's just like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely
Yeah.
the vibe. They'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna go see Saw 6?" And I'd be like, "That's what? That's so stupid."
Yeah. It's so funny. We were talking about it recently, how much like ratings have changed over the years because we were watching we were over there for I don't we were at Ben's parents for some reason and they had put on the first Indiana Jones movie and we're watching it, and people are getting shot, but like it's clearly like, a lot of people are like dying off screen. Like you see it in shadows. And the few people that do get shot on screen, like it's clearly fake blood. Like the practical effects are not that impressive, but it's a fun movie. And his mom hates anything like violent or gory, like anything that she thinks falls in that category. She's like, "Oh, this is awful. I don't know how you stand this." It's like one dude got fake shot on the screen. She's like, "It's terrible. Like this is so bad." And so we got into this conversation. I was like, "This is probably was most likely PG when it came out." I was like, "Maybe it's like PG-13. I bet they censor some stuff now on TV, but like not a lot." I was like, this is like borderline a kids movie. Literally, if you took out the guns, it'd be fine." And they were arguing with me on it, and I looked it up when I was like, "Oh, when it came out, it was a PG movie, like family wholesome fun." uh,
But
but
you guys, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I love people's threshold for violence. I think it's so funny.
I was just gonna say like have you guys seen that video? It's this guy who shows his grandma like a clip of like one of the GTA games of just someone just getting flung in the air, and they were like telling their grandmother that it was like real, it was like the news, like this happened.
That's crazy.
And his grandma definitely believed it. She was like, "Oh," and she was like devastated. She's like, "Oh, how could they show?"
Aw.
And I was like, it's funny, but also just kind of like, I don't know if, I don't know. I mean, you don't really know if you're older. You never really know what's real, what's not real, I guess, depending on your age now, because especially now with like, well, I don't know. I mean, I think I can still identify AI and what's not AI, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think as you get older, those kinds of things do get a little bit more difficult to tell, to differentiate. But I was just thinking about that when you were talking about how she was like, how could you stand this? But I'm just like, you know, yeah, that it's interesting to see the different thresholds and like generations and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like something's clearly like a ketchup packet underneath someone's shirt. It's just like it's so realistic. It's like it's not like I'm not saying it's bad. Like I'm still enjoying it, but the movies these days, like with practical effects and CGI and like additional things, like it's too realistic. Like it's hard to tell sometimes. And this is like clearly this dude, got hit with one bullet in his like right shoulder and then died slowly on the ground. Like he's fine.
Well, I think we reached time. Anything else you guys want to go over before we end our first episode of 2025? Because we're not sure. I have to keep saying that to myself. That's to myself. Everyone else knows.
The only thing I'm adding is a mini resolution for myself to stop dumping stuff on my desk.
Keyboard.
Was there another one recently?
I literally punched over my coffee this morning.
Oh.
Yep.
There you go.
Keep it in tradition.
Nice.
That's all.
There you go.
Happy 2025, everyone.
Happy 2025, everyone.
Ooh.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.